The last chapter was Dhritarashtra quitting home. There were so many lessons for us to understand and realize what is the exact time and age we should really renounce all the sever the ties of family and then go to a dham and reside there and completely focus on Krishna consciousness. It's very clearly explained, nicely explained by Prabhupada. Chapter 14, disappearance of Lord Krishna. Let's start with that. One 1.14.1. Okay, I can start. I'll call out your names. Please start reading the translations and purports. See the small purports looks like. Kumari Mataji, the first sloka.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'm nikal rahi hu 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm also projecting Mataji.
No, I'm opening my book, sir.
Yes, please.
Translation. Sri Sutta Goswami said, Arjuna went to Dwaraka to see Lord Sri Krishna and other friends and also to learn from the Lord of his next activities.
Purport, Mataji, purport.
So, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord descended on earth for the protection of the faithful and annihilation of the impious. So, after the battle of Kurukshetra and establishment of Maharaja Yudhishthira, the mission of the Lord was complete. The Pandavas, especially Sri Arjuna, were eternal companions of the Lord. And therefore, Arjuna went to Dwaraka to hear from the Lord of his next program of work.
Okay. So, the continuation of the past chapter, Sita said, Arjuna went to Dwaraka to God friends and also to learn from the Lord of his next activity.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the meaning of eternal companions?
Where is it, Prabhu? Eternal?
Eternal companion.
Oh, Prabhuji, eternal companion is they are forever together. So, Prabhuji, so Lord has this eternal companions that always descend with him wherever he goes, in whatever Leela. For example, Naranarayan and Rishi are eternal companions. Right? If you know, Krishna and Arjuna are eternal companions. Whatever Leela he does, they always come together. For example, Aditya is eternal companion. Whenever Krishna comes, he comes in some other form with him, right? And they are like completely with him all the time, in all circumstances, in all leelas. So those are called eternal companions. And
Right.
none of them are Naranarayan and Rishis, and they are eternal companions all the time.
Oh, right.
So the Pandavas, especially Arjuna, were eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore Arjuna went to the Dwaraka to hear from the Lord. Okay, so even Pandavas are eternal companions. That is very much explained in the Bhagavatam. Go to the next sloka. Padma aunty, you can read the next one.
Okay. A few months passed, and Arjuna did not return. Maharaja Yudhishthira then began to observe some inauspicious omens, which were fearful in themselves.
Yes. Okay, let's go. No purport, Mataji. We'll just go to translations only because it's a small chapter.
Okay.
When there is things, I'll Okay.
Then
next one. Kumari Mataji, Ramdas Prabhu.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yeah, third one.
He saw that the direction of the eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. And he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood.
Prabhuji, here he means Yudhishthira or Arjuna?
Yes. Yudhishthira, right? Because he sent Arjuna and he didn't return, right? In the previous sloka, it says Arjuna went to see Krishna, but he never returned. And Yudhishthira is seeing inauspicious things, right? And then, that means Kali is entering. That's what he means here. And this also means that, you know, Krishna is leaving that yuga. That's what it means. Okay, next, Ramesh, read it.
All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends. And in familial affairs, there was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between well-wishers, and between brothers. Even between husband and my wife, there was always strain and quarrel. Uh, I just want to add a point here, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, go
Okay.
ahead.
In my experience, many times we feel like answering back our dear ones to the, but many times I observed our reaction may not be right. Means it may be right at that moment, but if we keep quiet, just hold back, we'll realize, okay, there'll be some kind of realization. Okay, it was good I did not answer. That's all.
Yes, Prabhuji, you're right. So what Krishna is seeing here is that as seasons are changing, the attitude of people also is changing. You know, at the end of the Dwapar Yuga is coming. Krishna is ready to leave the body and leave the place and go away. And that means like entering of Kali. And then these are all the lakshanas of Kali, right? Polluted, cheating between friends, between families, mother and father, sons, well-wishers. You know, all that is starting, he's starting to see that. Probably because he's in the courtyard, a lot of people might be coming and he's seeing that. He says. Sheila Mataji, you want to read this one? For fifth one, translate.
Yes. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaja Yudhishthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother.
Younger brother means Arjuna, Prabhuji.
Arjuna, I think so.
Arjuna is not there.
Yeah, we can read the purport. Such a pious
Bhima
king.
and
Yeah, you can read the purport, Sheila Mataji.
Should I read a proper purport?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji, yes.
Yeah, such a pious king of Maharaja Yudhishthira at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irregularity, and hypocrisy. Okay, rampant in the society. It appears from this statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advert of the Kali Yuga or the age of warrant.
Yes.
Yes.
So, you know, he is worried that the symptoms are deteriorating, and he is very much worried about the inhuman symptoms. And, his younger brother, he will know probably in the next sloka, but probably it's not Arjuna because Arjuna went to seek Krishna here.
Prabhuji, I want to ask something.
Yes.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
That means that the time also only that when the Maharaja Yudhishthira was there, at that time only the Kali Yuga symptom was, they could guess that all this what will be happening in the Kali Yuga.
Yes, it's just started, Mataji. So if you remember, end of Dwapar Yuga is the beginning of Kali Yuga. There's a Sandhi Kala. There's a Dwapar Yuga declining and then Kali Yuga is increasing. So you can see that, because at the time everybody is quitting the bodies. Dhritarashtra went to forest, he quit body. Vidura, and then in this,
all started.
yeah, in this chapter, Krishna is going to go back to Godhead, and then even Pandavas will go to Himalayas, and they also go Swargaravanam and all that stuff they'll do, right? So he's seeing all these inauspicious things because beginning of Kali Yuga. That's where Parikshit Maharaj comes in the picture slowly, and we'll see what happens later. So the answer to the question, Prabhuji, is Bhimasena. Right? Arjuna went. So his brother means Bhimasena. So he did Padmanti translation.
Maharaja Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhimasena, I sent Arjuna to Dwaraka to meet his friends and to learn from the personality of Godhead Krishna of his program of work.
Yeah, so he's telling, Bhimasena is telling Bhimasena. Kumari Mataji, you can read this next one.
Yes, Prabhuji. Since he departed, 7 months are passed, yet he has not returned. I do not know factually how things are going there. Next one also continue Karu.
Yeah, yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Is he going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devarshi Narada indicated? Has the time already arrived?
Yeah, so he's going to contemplate that, he's worried what is happening on the other side.
From him only all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us.
Yes, next one, Mataji, go ahead.
Just see, oh man with a tiger's strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence. Sir, iska kya meaning hai ye translation ka?
Okay, let's read the purport, Mataji, then.
Material advancement of civilization means advancement of the reactions of the threefold miseries due to celestial influence, earthly reactions, and bodily or mental pain. By the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rains or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, and epidemic. The aggregate result is agony of the body and the mind. Man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. They are all punishment from the superior energy of Maya under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, our constant touch with the Lord by devotional service can give us relief without our being disturbed in the discharge of our human duties. The Asuras, however, who do not believe in the existence of God, make their own plans to counteract all these threefold miseries, and so they meet with failure every time. The Bhagavad Gita 7.14 clearly states that the reaction of material energy is never to be conquered because of the binding effects of the three modes. They can simply be overcome by one who surrenders fully in devotion under the lotus feet of the Lord.
So it's very important, right? What Prabhupada is saying here is, a man might have a strength of a tiger, but is always under the influence of three modes of material nature. Threefold miseries, right? Anything can happen. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika. Excessive heat, excessive rains, no rains, famine, epidemics, pandemics, famine, like with the whatever knowledge we have, with whatever studies we have, with whatever advancement we did, you cannot surpass the threefold miseries at any point of time. And foolish people, try to overcome those by providing bodily comfort, right? They try to see that they can get out of those. Can never get out of those, right? The asuras, the foolish people, they don't acknowledge the existence of God, and they try to make their own plans. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 clearly states that reaction to material energy is never be conquered because of the binding effect of the three modes, right? You can never conquer that by material energy because it's been very strong. Out of the two energies that God has, the material energy is the most strongest. And Maya Jaktena Prakrita, the whole material world works under the influence, under the direction of Krishna, and he directs the material world to make sure that we act according to our three modes. and the threefold miseries, everything is for us, and we need to be, understanding this, and then understand these threefold miseries and see what is the ultimate happiness, the ultimate way to get out of these. This is what he's saying, right? That's what Yudhishthira is saying, that you cannot get out of these until you take the path. Okay, Ramdas Prabhu, you can read a few translations.
The left side of my body, my thighs, arms, and eyes are all quivering again and again. I'm having heart palpitations due to fear.
Yeah.
All
So,
this indicates undesirable happenings.
so some people can see that their left eye is vibrating and then quivering. It's called like quivering. They're all unauspicious indications. It's written in Bhagavatam. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Just see, oh Bhima, how the Sri Chakal cries at the rising sun and woman's fire, and how the dogs barks at me fearlessly.
Yeah. So the howling, the dogs barking, and all unauspicious things. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Oh Bhimasena, tiger amongst men, now useful animals like cows are passing me on my left side, and lower animals like asses are circumambulating me. My horses appear to weep upon seeing me.
So these are all unauspicious things according to Bhagavatam. You can see that. Yeah, okay, next, Prabhuji.
And just see, this pigeon is like a messenger of death. So the shrieks of the owls and their rival crows make my heart tremble. It appears that they want to make a void of the whole universe.
Yeah, streak of an owl, crows, crowing, all these things are also bad omens. Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, pigeon is considered a bad omen. I'm not saying surprised, but for the modern man, we often look pigeon in a very different way. So I just wanted to know about pigeons.
I don't know, Prabhuji. It's written here, so it must be true. So basically, I
because
don't know
because I just want to, I'm taking consuming some, because these pigeons do spread a lot of diseases.
Oh yeah,
I know that.
Materially they're bad. You should never encourage pigeons in your balcony. They are like they give you asthma and all those kind of diseases. I kind of have a net which kind of prevents any pigeon to come. You should never encourage pigeons. But Bhagavatam also looks like it says pigeon is a messenger of death, which I'm first time seeing. Maybe.
Prabhuji, what about crows? Because we feed crows regularly.
No, you can see the crows. It's not about seeing the crows, but crow continuously, crying is not good, is what he's saying. Crows and owls, once in a while you can see that. Not...
About crows, I want to add, Prabhuji. Again, sorry. We do Pindadana to the crows only, and we tell that our ancestors who passed away come back in the form of crow only. So I think we should change our attitude towards pigeons and crows in opposite directions, respectively.
No. I think crows coming during the time of Pindadana is good, because on that day, especially, Pitur Devatas come as crow. But what I think he's telling is everyday crows crying at your house is not good, right? Once in a while, during Pindadana.
No, Prabhuji, we feed crows, so they come and eat and go. They don't cry.
That's fine. I think crows crying is the problem. They should not unnecessarily cry a lot. Make the noise is what he's saying. Eating and going is fine. That is like Jiva, Jivadaya. You give food to all the animals and see Krishna everywhere. But these are bad omens. Typically, they don't happen. This is why Yudhishthira is telling all this to give an analogy of all the bad omens he's seeing. Because Arjuna didn't return and he's worried what's happening there in Dwaraka, right? So these are all, that happen once in a while. Not regular things, which are like, you never hear all crying and all that stuff. So that's why he's feeling like that. Okay, so Prabhuji, you have to read the previous one. The smoke.
Yeah. Just see how the smoke encircles the sky. It appears that the earth and the mountains are throbbing. Just hear the cloudless thunder and see the bolts from the blue.
Go ahead, another next one, Prabhuji.
The wind blows violently, blasting dust everywhere and creating darkness. Clouds are raining everywhere, bloody disasters.
So all these things are inauspicious things.
The rays of the sun.
The rays of the sun are declining and the stars appearing to be fighting amongst themselves. Confused living entities appear to be ablaze and weeping. Rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mine are all better. Butter no longer ignites fire. What is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen? The cows do not suck the teats of the cows, nor do the cows give milk. They're standing crying, tears in their eyes. The bulls take no pleasure in pasturing grounds.
Yeah, so this is an inauspicious thing, right? You know, a cow should never cry, and cows should be happily living and giving milk, right? If you see a cow that is not giving milk, that is inauspicious, right? You know, in Kali Yuga, you can see how much starter houses we are having, and then how much bad things we're doing, right? You know, it's so difficult to get cow milk in these days, right? It's so difficult to have Goshala, as you can see the deterioration happening in the Kali Yuga. So, you know, this is one of the bad omens again. Right.
The deities seem to be crying in the temple, lamenting and despairing. They seem about to leave. All the cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are now devoid of beauty and bereft of all happiness. I do not know what sort of calamities are now awaiting us.
You can see how many calamity, how many symptoms Bhagavatam is stating. The Shastra, all these things are real inauspicious things as per Bhagavatam.
I think all these earthly disturbances indicate some greater loss to the good fortune of the world. The world was fortunate to have been marked with the footprints of the lotus feet of the Lord. These signs indicate that this will no longer be.
So he's predicting that. Okay, next Prabhuji.
O Brahmana Saunaka, while Maharaja Yudhishthira observing the inauspicious signs on the earth at that time, was thus thinking to himself, Arjuna came back from the city of the Yadus.
Yeah. So again, in this sloka, you can see Sutta Mahamuni is telling Saunakas, right? You know, in the previous one, it's like Yudhishthira thinking himself, and then it went back up to the previous conversation between Mahamuni and Saunaka. And Sutta Mahamuni Saunaka is telling Saunaka that Yudhishthira is observing these things, and at the same time, Arjuna came back. So let's Padman to read the next from the next few verses.
Okay. Oh, Brahmana Saunaka, while Maharaja Yudhishthira observing
the next one.
Next one. When he bowed at his feet, the king saw that his dejection was unprecedented. His head was down, and tears glided from his lotus eyes.
Something happened.
Seeing Arjuna pale due to heartfelt anxieties, the king, remembering the indications of the sage Narada, questioned him in the midst of friends.
He asked what happened.
Maharaja Yudhishthira said, my dear brother, please tell me whether our friends and relatives such as Madhu, Bhoja, Dasharha, Arha, Satwata, Andhaka, and the members of the Yadu family are all passing their days in happiness.
Yeah, these are all the people who fought for Pandavas also in the Yadu dynasty.
He is my respectable grandfather, Shurasena, in a happy mood, and are my maternal uncle Vasudeva and his younger brothers all doing well.
Yes.
His 7 wives, headed by Devaki, are all sisters. Are they and their sons and daughters-in-law all happy?
Yes, okay.
Or Ugrasena, whose son was the mischievous Kamsa, and his younger brother still living, or Hrudika and his son Kritavarma happy, or Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sarana, and Shatrujit all happy? How is Balrama, the personality of Godhead and the protector of devotees?
You're asking about all these people.
How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family? Is he happy? And is Anuruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well?
Do you know who's Aniruddha? It's Krishna's son. Krishna's son. His name is Aniruddha.
Yeah, Krishna's son.
Okay, next.
Are all chieftains sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushena, Charudeshna, Samba, and the son of Jambavati, and Rishabha, along with their sons, all doing well.
Yeah, these are all the sons of Krishna. Right?
Krishna,
Krishna
yeah.
married 16,108 wives. Each of them had 10 sons. So you can read the purport, Mataji, just like, to get an idea.
Okay. As already mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 into 10, that is 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father, and the whole aggregate was something near 16,10,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwaraka on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwaraka, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members.
Yeah, so Lord has so many family members.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Also,
So-
Shukadeva.
Prabhuji,
Also,
Ramesh Prabhu, you said something?
Yeah. So there are so many children of the Vamsa Adhikaris of Krishna,
Yes.
Lord Bhagwan.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do I say? They would be the people to revere practically. I mean, normally. But how do we look at this? How do we look at this means like Yadavs they were, I believe. So only or how do we look at Yadavs generally? How do
Yes,
we
Prabhu.
look at
All the
Yadavs?
Yadavs are somehow or other never related to Krishna. All the Yadavas, right? They're all related to Krishna in one way or the other. Because they are all the same dynasty of Krishna, where Krishna is born. Krishna ruled. Krishna ruled.
Shalom.
So, Puji, is that your question? What is the question? I don't understand. How do you relate means like what? I don't understand.
Nothing. We see so many Yadavs in every walk of life, but sometimes we we mostly come across in politics. I'm sorry to erase this topic of politics.
So, Prabhuji, this is surname Yadava.
that's-
I don't know. See, I know what you're saying. Surname Yadava might be there, but I don't know how many people related to Krishna. But they claim that they're related to Krishna because their surname is Yadava. But probably it is somebody might have added that afterwards. We don't know. But from the Bhagavatam, from whatever it is told, Krishna was in Dwaraka with all the Yadavas, the Yadu dynasty. He took over and he had relations with all the Yadavas and all the sons and the grandsons, everybody. That's a huge dynasty. But at the end of Dwapar Yuga, entire dynasty got dissolved, right? Remember, right? There is a curse
Right.
by Gandhari.
Right.
The whole dynasty got dissolved. I don't know who
Exactly.
remained, but who are the people that came back to Kali Yuga? We don't know that, but that's what we know so far. Okay, Mataji, you can read this.
Also Shrutadeva, Uddhava and others, Nanda, Sunanda and other leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of the Lord are protected by Lord Balarama and Krishna. Are they all doing well in their respective functions? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare?
Yeah, so he's inquiring about everyone.
Yeah. Is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the censors, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarakapuri, surrounded by friends?
Yeah, he's the Dwarakadish, right? He is the king of Dwaraka. So he's asking how is it doing in the kingdom? He's enjoying his kingdom.
The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer, and Balarama, the primeval Lord Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress of the entire universe. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky.
Yeah, so he's asking a lot of questions. Just like if somebody goes someplace and we ask them about all the people he met, right? Like that, he's inquiring about it. So let's have Rajesh Prabhu is here. Rajesh Prabhu, you want to read it?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You can read a few verses.
Yeah, simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of thunderbolts.
Yeah. So who are the wives of the controller of Thunderbolt? Who is the controller of Thunderbolt?
Indra's wife, I
Yes,
forgot.
yes,
Prabhu.
Indra is the controller of Thunderbolt. So the queens of Krishna are enjoying things that are prerogatives of the wives. So just like, if you remember the Parijata Paharana, right? Krishna got Parijata down for Satyabhama. Like that, all the queens of Krishna are enjoying all the nice things that are brought by Krishna from other. Okay, go ahead, Rajesh Prabhu.
Yeah, the great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of
Lord.
Yeah, Lord Sri Krishna. You're there?
Prabhuji 37 purport chadvintra.
Rajesh, your audio is breaking.
Krishna always remain the Sudhas deserved, but I'm in the car. Which
Rajesh Prabhu, your audio is breaking.
yeah. Sorry, I'm in the car. I'm outside.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
you can proceed with others. I'll just listen.
Okay. Let's read the purport of 37. Probably Mataji wants to read it. Mataji, you can read it if you want.
Okay, sir. Satyabhama, one of the principal queens of the Lord Sri Krishna at Dwaraka. After killing Narakasura, Lord Krishna visited the palace of Narakasura accompanied by Satyabhama. He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama, and she was received by Sati Devi, who introduced her to the mother of the demigods, Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama, and she blessed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on the earth. Aditi also took her with her to show her the special prerogatives of the demigods in the heavenly planets. When Satyabhama saw the Parijata flower, she desired to have it in her place at Dwaraka. After that, she came back to Dwaraka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have the Parijata flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool, as if air conditioned. She decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and the means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept 5 husbands, Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. On receipt of Draupadi's instruction, she was very much pleased and offered her wishes and returned to Dwarka. She was the daughter of Satyajit. After the departure of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna visited Dwaraka, all the queens, including Satyabhama and Rukmini, lamented for the Lord with great feeling. At this last stage of her life, she left for the forest to undergo severe penance. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by force from the demigods, as a common husband secures things to please his wife. As already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comfort, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their becoming Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wife of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe. Thank you, sir.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
question. If my understanding. So here the purpose is trying to say that Krishna getting the Parijata for Satyabhama is just to just because she has served him so well. So as a result, it is not like she's asking for something demanding and she is getting it. If for us material, for example, okay, we get a cell phone to our dear ones or to the wife. It's not like that. It is just the result of. Is my understanding correct?
Yes, Prabhu, that's what he's saying, right? So the purport Prabhupada is saying, right, how, not only ordinary wives serve husbands, how these, 8 wives of all the 16,108 wives served Krishna in such a nice way, and how Krishna reciprocated as a normal, ordinary husband, right? So, as a, even though he's the personality of Godhead, in the Dwapara Yuga, he served all his wives, not only his wives, it is told in Bhagavatam that he served his in-laws, the brother-in-laws and everybody just like a family member. And he took care of them so well. And at the same time, he took care of all the 16,108 wives and into 16 lakhs, 10,800 kids. And so it's indicating that how Krishna has performed his duty as a household person, as a husband, as a son-in-law, as a brother-in-law, and served all the people. So it just Prabhupada is indicating that if a wife serves husband sincerely, the husband will satisfy all her needs, just like any other. Even Krishna could get heavenly things like Parijata also from the heavenly planets, which is only created for them. Is what Krishna is what this purport is telling. Prabhupada is telling. That you are right. Okay, so with this we'll stop here today because I have another program at 2. I have to go and prepare for it. So let's do Narasimha-arati. Who wants Narasimha-arati today?
Prabhuji, may I karegi?
Sorry, okay, Mataji. You need me to display it, or you know it, Mataji, by heart?
By heart ही करेगा है. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hiranyakashi शिलटङ्कानखालये
तो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह
यतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यामि ततो
नरसिंह
यतो
यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो
महे नृसिंहो हृदये नृसिंहो नर सिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे
हे नरसिंहो हे नरसिंहो नरसिंहमदिं
शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव कर कमलवरे कलिता हिरण्यकशिपो
तव कर कमलवरे नखा अद्भुत श्रृंगारिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंग
केशवंता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश
हरे केशवधृत
हरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय
जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव
जयो
नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जयो
प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद
महाराज जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय
गुरुदेव
जय
जय
गुरुदेव
जय गौर हरि
हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि
निताय गौरा
निताय हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर
हरि बोल
जय जय विघ्ननाशक नरसिंहदेव महाराज की
जय
जय
जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम प्रव्राजिकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतसहस्र दिव्यान ग्रेस भक्तवंत निरूपपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम प्रव्राजिकाचार्य दिव्यान ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नामाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गौर भक्त की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय नाथ माई की पुरुषोत्तम की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय गंगे माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय all glories to somebody devotees Hare Krishna all glories to Hare Krishna all glories to Hare Krishna all glories to Krishna Gauranga pancha kalpasya कृपा सिंधु अजमतानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय प्रसाद डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हरे कृष्ण श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय thank you very much Prabhuji Mataji for joining today both Bhagavatam class. We'll see you again all next week. We'll continue 6th chapter and start 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Hare
Thank you.
Bol.